What's up everybody, welcome back to Krebsbach Racing. Today is all about the 128i. This is video number 3. We're taking the car to Brainerd International Raceway to do some track testing again, and we have a few modifications that I want to show you. The car now has a small aero package on it. We added a front splitter. This was built by me. It's a plywood splitter wrapped in carbon fiber and then epoxied. It is just a flat one, no diffusers on the bottom. It goes back about 4 or 5 inches behind the front of the tire and all the way across, and it kind of meets up with the bottom molding on the bottom of the car, so it's pretty flat underneath. We have our professional awesome splitter rods up front holding the front of the splitter, and then I made a couple brackets that mount to the radiator support in the back. Underneath I just mounted it to the subframe. There's an aluminum subframe that goes straight across that I mounted some self tappers to, and then put some rib nuts in the bottom of the splitter. I wanted something simple, so this is nice and flat. There's no end plates, no tire spats, nothing like that. The car doesn't make a whole lot of horsepower, so we don't need a whole bunch of drag kind of holding it up. And we also added a rear wing. This is actually the trunk off of the Drift 135i. It came with it when I bought the car, so I just swapped trunk lids. I believe this is an APR 200 or 250, I'm not sure. But this wing should be making about 200 to 250 pounds of downforce at 120 miles an hour-ish. And I'm hoping that we made a splitter that is about the same. You want your aero to be balanced front and back, so we want both of them making about the same downforce at the same mile per hour. So this should be about the same. This splitter comes out about 5 inches from the front of the bumper. About 3.5 inches, I believe, off of my splitter, the eBay splitter I have there. We just have some garden edging on the back, so we have some screws back there holding that on, and then just taped the seam right here. You want this to be airtight so no air can get through there. It's going to create a little more downforce that way. You also want a nice rounded edge on the front of your splitter. That way air can easily go up and down and it doesn't detach right here. Any detachment, you're going to add drag. So something nice and round in the front. Now, one problem I had with the last track day that we took the car on, after every session I would leave the car, kind of turn it off, let it settle, let it cool down, and when I started it back up there would always be a bunch of smoke that would come out of the exhaust right away. So there must be oil getting past the PCV system and into the intake manifold. So I changed oil in hopes to put a little bit thicker oil in, so hopefully that doesn't happen, and also to protect the bearings a little bit. A little bit thicker oil at track temperatures might have just a little bit better chance staying in the pickup and not oil starving or anything like that. So I went with the same oil that I put in the Evo. This is Motul 300V 15W50. As I said, it's a little bit thicker than what I was running before. I think I had a liquid moly like 540 or 1040, something like that was recommended. So just hope that we don't have oil starvation, and maybe it'll get rid of my smoking issue. Alright, it's time for a stroll around Brainerd International Raceway. We already had 2 sessions. Our best lap in one of those sessions was a 147.2, which tied my best time from the spring, so we're going for a faster one here. We've already done our warm-up lap and are on a flyer now. It's the very first flyer of the session, and this Miata decided not to leave a space at all, so it's point by only passing, and I'm just going to end up leaving him there. It's his fault that he kind of stuck right behind me on the outlap, so give yourself space, make sure you got room so you can do a flyer if you need to. But we're going for it right here, about 10 in the morning, I think, 10 or 11. Track's kind of cool, pretty good conditions, sun is out. This is my first time full speed through corner 2. We hold about 118, 119 miles per hour through here, which is cooking right along. The car feels much more stable through that corner with the added aero. Through corner 3 all the way up on the curb. The car is feeling pretty good. It's still understeery. You can tell when I turn the steering wheel a little harder that the front end just kind of starts to squeal. So I'm basically just managing front grip. The Miata behind me was running about a 142, I believe. I talked to him after the session. into the carousel. Try not to understeer too far off out into the distance. I want to stay about half track here and get on power as soon as I can. I found a different line with a slower car. You can kind of get on power early and track out right there. Before I wasn't full throttle through all of this, but with the added aero it's much more comfortable and I can stay flat through here. And we finished a lap with a 145.2, so we took off 2 seconds from this Springs run. The car feels absolutely great. It's much more stable in all the corners and the aero is definitely working. Let's go for another flyer. This is the next session. We have a Corvette Z06 in front of us on slicks. I believe they're older slicks, somewhat newer driver, so we're going to try to keep up with him for a lap. But still trying to find a little pace, getting ready for the standing start shootout coming up this afternoon. As you can see, we struggle just a little bit against the Corvette in the power department, but let's see if we can catch up through the rest of the course. And by the end of the lap, we still have him in sights, but I think he got me by a little bit. We crossed the line with a new PR of a 145 flat, so we are 2.2 seconds right now faster than we were in the spring. So looking forward to standing start coming up. This is a picture of my left front tire. This is a Kumo V730, and as you can see, it's wearing excessively on the outside. They don't really have that much tread on the outside of the tire anyways, just those two big grooves on the inside, but you can see kind of the hot mark on it. We're using the outside way more than we should. We're at about negative 2.5 degrees camber, and on a McPherson strut car you need to be around negative 3.5 to be in the right zone, so we are definitely heating up the outside of the tire, and that's causing the understeer I think on this car. Once we fix that, this car should really come alive on the front end and be a lot more fun to drive. I found this issue before standing start, and I did increase my tire pressure. I'm usually running about 30 psi hot, and I changed it to about 35 to 36 psi, and it did help the handling just a little bit. The car felt a little more precise. The tire wasn't rolling over as much as it was before. This is standing start. You can see the timer is just ahead of me. That's when my time starts. They added a cone up there and to the left. We used to be able to cut straight to the left right away, so that added just a few tenths to our time. And the lap ends on the regular start finish on the front straight. So this is my third run of the 3 that we get right away, and then we get 3 more about an hour later. Pushing pretty hard through 2 here. We're averaging, I think my max or minimum speed through 2 was 119.8 or something like that. brake a little bit too late for 3 and missed the apex by a country mile. So this lap is kind of done for, but it's my last of the 3, so we just keep going. One thing to note is that my oil is actually helping. Afterwards, when you start after a session, if you have to be looking for it, but it's just barely anything. You see a little bit of smoke come out of the car, but not much at all. And you can also see that the car is still running, so we have not oil starved it yet. No weird engine noises of any kind. We'll have to change oil to find out and see if there's any metal shavings anywhere, but as far as I can tell, everything seems to be good. Coming through the lights, we run a new PR of 102.0, so we're just about broken to the 101s. And this is in seconds, by the way. This is 100 seconds, or 101 seconds, not 1 minute and 1 second. So we have one more that I'm going to show you, and that is our fastest time of the event. Cleaned up corner 3 on this lap, and that's probably where all of my time came from, but we ran a 101.6, so a new PR again on my 4th run. This is the fastest I ran this event, and we're about 1.3 seconds faster than last year. Take off a little bit for the starter cone. Other than that, just a simple wing and splitter will get you quite a bit of time on track. This is a comparison of the last 3 track days at Brainerd with the 128i. We ran a 109 with 203 wheel horsepower stock, 102.9 with the added horsepower from all the performance mods, Fortune Auto suspension, and an alignment. And then we went another 1.3 seconds faster, ran a 101.6 with just the front splitter and wing added. All of these were on the exact same set of 225/45/17 Kumo V730 tires. From start to finish, we've gained about 7 seconds so far, 7.5 seconds in a 1 minute 40 second course. So as you guys can see, the BMW is turning into quite the fun little car. I'm certainly enjoying it. We've taken it on 3 events and a couple autocrosses, and we've had 0 issues whatsoever. Haven't broken anything, haven't had any breakdowns, no issues, no leaks, no nothing like that, and we've beaten the crap out of it. We've taken it on a lot of track days. I'm not easy on cars when I go on track. I'm not sliding it around and stuff, but I'm holding G's through corners. If an engine's gonna break, you know, it's gonna break. We're gonna oil starve it. But it hasn't. So far so good. The 128i is running great. Hope you guys like the series. Next up, we're going to try out an N54 intake manifold, see if we can gain a little bit more power in the upper RPMs. Some people say it sacrifices just a little bit of mid-range, but we'll see how that goes on the dyno. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.